Howdy folks, and welcome back to Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We're up to Season 7, Episode 7. The Totally Excellent Adventures of Mac and the D. Okay, so is this entire episode going to be Mac and Deke alone, stranded in time, trying to figure out a way to either catch up to or get back to the rest of the crew? Part of me thinks that would be cool, but part of me also doesn't want that to just be it. So I'm hoping that it's more. Because remember last episode, Deke and Mac were stranded. The ship just suddenly took off. The time jump happened. And Mac was out kind of dealing with his emotions from realizing that his parents are now dead, or in this timeline that he's in, are dead. And that he had to kill their doppelgangers, basically. Dealing with all of that emotion. And Deke was trying to help him, but of course they got stranded. Good news is, bad news is Daisy's real messed up. Good news is Sousa's decided to stay. So hopefully we'll get to see some of the stuff that's happening on the Zephyr. I hope it's not all just Mac and D. Please. This is the final season. There's so few episodes. Please don't make it just the two characters. I want more characters. I'm selfish. I want more characters. I'm greedy. All right. Well, anyway, let's see. Okay, so the big question. What year are they in, right? I was guessing 1999 or 2001. Let's see.
What happened? Start from the beginning.
Interesting. Question, though. Is this his May? Or did they jump into a fairly recent year, and this is actually that May? Find out.
You wouldn't believe me if I...
That leads me to believe this isn't the May from Zephyr 1. This is May from an earlier year. The you wouldn't believe me part. Oh, look at this little guy. Who made him? 1982. So they didn't jump very far. 1982. So they jumped 6 years. Huh.
SAP. Gabish?
So we've even got the preppies, we've got the big box PC clones. It's the 80s. Well, I guess technically they're not preppies when they're adults. They're just yuppies, right? Oh, that does not look like English. That looks like Chronicom. Who's pranking me? Oh, it's her. The Chronicom. Well, the ship was destroyed, but she must have saved herself in some kind of network or somehow got out in 76 when the ship was destroyed. Somehow she was preserved. Then she's appearing in this computer now. The surge, the power surge, it's been on the fritz. So she traveled across power lines? Definitely an 80s war games sort of intro sequence. Awesome.
You figured out.
Oh boy. Wow, I've never seen Mac like this, man. Never seen him not care. So into whatever he's feeling, his emotions, his depression, whatever, that he just doesn't care. I think, visiting the grave of his parents, I think since he made a point of saying I was 10 years old, we're gonna run into his 10-year-old self, aren't we? We're gonna run into 10-year-old Mac. Who's raising him now? Him and his brother.
Alfie, Ruben, don't forget your back.
An uncle or something? That I've recognized him? I don't recognize him. But then I'm really, really, really bad at recognizing characters that have been in way back in the past.
Flesh, will you grasp my true capability?
It just dawned on me. Oh, I got Farrah Fawcett in the background. I just saw that. It just dawned on me. This is very similar. In some ways, it's similar to some 80s movies. We'll go unmentioned.
Hey-o. Aren't you
Well, at least Deke found him.
It's been too long.
Microwave oven.
Oh, come on, man. Deke's just trying to help. I got a question for you. I guess we'll find out maybe that he got like a job or something. I was just wondering how he's paying for all this stuff. Maybe he knows about some kind of stashes of cash that S.H.I.E.L.D. had or something, or something. Deke clearly has to have gotten a job somewhere. Wow. He hasn't come out in a long time. Yeah, so he must be funding himself from some other means, like a stash he knew about or something, because he hasn't even left his apartment or wherever he's living since Deke left the stuff New Year's Eve. Wow.
Here's some flowers. No, to mark the occasion.
Poor nerd.
Human gesture, which I appreciate.
It's not
Geek, I know.
just thought.
Cylon. Another 80s reference. Or Kit, if you want to think of it that way. It also had the red going back and forth. So he may not have... He probably recognized that as being Deke's writing. I was going to say he may not have known who invited him here. But he probably figured out it was Deke. So that's how Deke's making money. He's a musician now.
And I wrote this song.
Oh no, it's going to be a song he did not write. Mac. Deke's fortunately, I guess he studied music and knows that this song hadn't come out yet, so he could actually reinvent it or invent it. But I love Mac. I'm gonna need a drink. Oh my god, this guy's he's not doing ripples anymore. He's doing waves still. That's gonna upset Mac quite a bit, probably.
You're not.
Wait a minute.
I said you wouldn't believe me. Do you want me to finish?
It's a S.H.I.E.L.D. logo. Looks like... Does it look like the lighthouse, or does it look like somewhere else? What's that computer look like back there? That monitor looks kind of old. I'm trying to place this May. Is this May from the 90s? From the 2000s? I mean, obviously, Ming-Na Wen, she appears to be roughly the same age, but let's pretend they did a little bit of... They potentially have done a little bit of... euthanizing. Euthanizing? That's the wrong word. A little bit of youngifying. There's a word for that. I can't remember what it is. But anyway, so I don't know when this takes place. This can't be the 80s. I think even Ming-Na Wen was pretty darn young in the 80s, and the May would have been. But 90s, 2000s, did they make another jump? Or did they get back to the right time, and she's debriefing him? I want to think this is an earlier May. I really do. Let's find out.
You're not.
Daisy. Ha ha ha. He changed the line, right? Because I'm pretty sure the line is baby, and he changed it to Daisy. That's funny. Now the question is Max still there? Because he's on his way out.
Steal something from the future, and you pretend you created it.
Yeah, he's angry.
Over whether or not those are actually, especially with all the enemy chatter we've been picking up.
It's interesting because the real S.H.I.E.L.D. exists at this point in time. I mean, obviously they can't really go contact them, so they're kind of running a shadow S.H.I.E.L.D., I guess, or at least that's what Deke wants.
What do you mean, the Chronicles? Please tell me you didn't.
Oh no.
Of course you did.
His mind, life data, stayed safe and sound.
Oh, interesting. So not only did she survive in some form, an electronic or virtual form, but so did Coulson.
Didn't have much in the way of.
Oh, he's definitely Max Headroom. Look at that. Oh, there's multiples. Oh, wow. Feel kind of bad for the guy. I mean, he's just a typical nerd who got swayed by the potential of actually hooking up with a girl. They used real explosives?
Why are you using live explosives?
Needs to fire that drummer.
Okay, probably not the best idea.
You get a shotgun axe for him.
Designed it myself.
Kind of expected it to go that way, right? I mean, it's not like Mac's gonna just say, "Okay, yeah, we got this new team. Let's get back to work." He's still going through too much, and still too much is in ruins, you know. Oh, I was seeing the new Chronicom robots, the Cylons, drilling in, and I was like, "What are they doing?" And it just, of course, just made the connection. They're breaking into the lighthouse.
It's so cute.
Uh-oh.
Oh, what's your name, sweetie? I'm Kit.
Oh, wow. The Deke's been doing what Mac couldn't do. Mac watched himself once and then just went into depression. But Mac's been going there and giving him stuff and making sure he has a happy life. That's, oh man, that's got to mean a lot to Mac. Come on.
Take cover! Exterminate!
Exterminate. Oh, I love the Doctor Who reference.
Saint, who would ever murder him?
Oops. That's who. It's also become the Terminator, by the way. Terminator 2. Actually, Terminator 3. 3? Anyway, the one with the early T1 models roaming around. Was that Terminator 3? I think that was Terminator 3.
You mean the robots?
Yeah, the robots. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Oh no, Olga. Come on, Olga.
Remember the good times.
Blow it up. Get that shotgun axe.
Robots still out there.
Head robot.
Yeah, Olga's smart.
Taste defeat.
Time to shave. So 80s. Is that though? So that's the time stream, huh?
Now that we've established a motive.
I've got a score to settle short circuit.
Yeah, finally somebody made the short circuit joke. Oh, nasty. Poor Olga, she's been beaten up twice now. Somehow I want her to survive. Oh, was that Sybil though? Because it didn't speak. I don't think that was Sybil.
Worst rash I've had this year.
Nice work, D.
Mac Daddy.
Nope.
Roger that.
No Mac Daddy.
First S.H.I.E.L.D. mission.
Hey, Olga survived. And here's the Zephyr. What time period did they appear in?
No one should ever have to go through something like that alone.
So it's been 20 months. So theoretically, they just popped in right at the time we just left Mac and Deke at the house. That's about how long I think it's been since they've been stranded. So I guess it's a rescue mission. So maybe the May that was debriefing him is this May, although she's dressed totally differently and she's in a different place. I'm glad they found him.
I was worried about you. We'll wait and see.
That's cold, May. Even for you.
Okay, so this one little mini robot took the time drive thing. Where's it going? Is Sybil in another location? Is Sybil in the drive? Okay, who's this? That Malik dude.
You now have the one tool necessary
There she
to
is.
control your world's future.
So how did Sybil get from... I guess she was maybe remotely controlling and communicating through the robot that got destroyed, I guess? And she was always in the TV, as it were. But Malik survived this one. So Daisy's... Oh, don't want to look at previews. Daisy's powers did not destroy him, and the building or the rubble collapsing on him didn't kill him. Does he still have Daisy's powers? That's a question. We didn't get an answer here, obviously. I'm not that upset. I said at the beginning, I really hope it wasn't just all about Mac and Dee stuck in time, and it mostly was. At the very end, we got more, but it mostly was. And I'm not upset because I think they did a really good, entertaining job. Because there were just too many good 80s references. 80s were my real decade. That's, the decade that anybody becomes 18, goes through their teenage years, becomes 20, and that time frame. That's usually their decade, right? That's when the most important things happen in early in their life. It's when they meet a lot of friends for the first time. That's when they learn to drive. That's when potentially they go to college. They legally are allowed to drink if they drink. That sort of thing. They become an adult. So it's a really important decade. And for me, that was the 80s. So I love the 80s. And just so many great references, pop culture references, movie references. So it was entertaining. And we got the whole Mac and Deke, and the whole Deke with the D team. What do you call it? Those guys were great. And Mac kind of coming to, it took him like 20 months according to Yo-Yo and May, but he kind of came to grips with the situation. And man, how awesome was it that Deke went out of his way to make sure that young Mac and his brother had a good life, that things were given to them. That was just so awesome of Deke. I mean, it really was. He really, Mac couldn't see it, but he really did understand because he was taken out of his timeline. His parents were gone. All of this stuff. He's stranded. He's alone. So he really can sympathize a lot with what Mac's going through. So that was really cool of him. So again, like I've said last time, Deke has changed a lot. And I got an impression. I mean, I've seen in the comments people are saying, no, they're not. They're definitely trying to put Daisy and Sousa together. Still don't think so. I think in the end, any sort of romantic relationship is going to brew between. I still think it's going to brew between Deke and Daisy. I think that they got off on the wrong foot in the beginning because he was just attracted to the pretty girl, the pretty powerful girl. And he was very immature, and he's become very mature. And I think that there was a scene earlier in this season where she really, you could see it on her face, the actor's face. She did a really good job, where she was realizing, hey, this isn't a jerk. This guy isn't an immature jerk anymore. He's actually a decent human being. So anyway, I'm still thinking that might happen. And they've been building that for a long time, and there's been a lot of offs and no ons, but a lot of offs, with the whole lemons and everything. I still think that they're going to pay that off. I really do. I'm holding out hope. But so the Chronocoms. So that's a good question, though. If the drive wasn't being controlled by the Chronocoms anymore, why was the Zephyr jumping? Why did it jump 20 months? Why did it jump 6 years? First, and then why did it jump 20 more months after that? Why was it jumping if it wasn't being controlled? It's an interesting question. But she's basically getting back into control of it. Now, those hunters, I think there's still some Chronocom hunters, right, that weren't on the ship. There's going to be some Chronocoms. She doesn't have to rebuild them all from scratch. I think those hunters that were cops, I think they're still around. In the 1930s? Maybe? I don't know. Maybe they were on the ship. I have no idea. But anyway. Yeah, so that was the episode 7. And if they do the 2 episodes in the same time period thing again, then this next one will also be in the 80s? Because they didn't jump at the end of this one. We didn't see them jump. But I think they're going to continue here in the 80s. Maybe with the new team. We get some more Olga. I want her to become a real S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. That's hilarious. It's like my father had the expression, and growing up we had this expression, a poor man's this, a poor man's that. She's a poor man's Black Widow, in a sense. I think she's great. And that one that was, given the speech to Mac, I don't remember her name. She's pretty cool too. And the two twins, of course, which is a kind of a playoff on obviously the brothers, Patton Oswalt's characters. So that was a really cool little mini S.H.I.E.L.D. thing. But what about the real S.H.I.E.L.D.? They exist now. I mean, sure, they have Hydra influence in them, but they're S.H.I.E.L.D. They do exist. I wonder if they'll ever come across them or run into them. Maybe, hang on a minute, maybe my theory about that being a different May is still going to hold out. Still holding out hope to be the truth. I don't think that could possibly be May in the 80s, the real May, because she's not that old. But it could still be a different May. They could jump and end up in a time period where he runs into May previous in the timeline, and that's the one interrogating him, because that meeting at the end there where our May said, "Hey, I'm glad, good to see you, Deke." That didn't look like she had the same attitude towards Deke that the one who was debriefing him had. I'm still holding out hope that we'll run into a different May. Again, they have to jump forward because there's no way that May would be an adult S.H.I.E.L.D. agent in 1984 or whenever this is supposed to be, 20 months later. So I'm still holding out hope for that. Anyway, guys, what do you think? Let me know. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.